I am Victoria. They called me the grandmother of Europe, the queen of an empire upon which the sun never set. But behind the crown was a girl, a woman, a widow, and a ruler who bore the weight of history. My name is Victoria, Queen of the United Kingdom, and this is my life, as I lived it. A lonely little girl. I was born Alexandrina Victoria on the 24th of May, 1819, in Kensington Palace, London. They named me Alexandrina after my godfather, the Tsar of Russia, and Victoria after my mother. But I would come to be known by just one name, Victoria. I was born into a complicated world. My father, the Duke of Kent, was the fourth son of King George III, and my birth came at a time when the British royal line was in a state of uncertainty. My father died of pneumonia when I was only 8 months old, leaving my German-born mother a widow in a foreign land. My childhood was governed by what they called the Kensington system, a strict set of rules imposed by my mother and her close advisor, Sir John Conroy. It was designed to make me obedient and dependent on them. I was not allowed to walk down the stairs alone. I shared a bedroom with my mother until I became queen. I had no real friends. My every movement was monitored. But I had my governess, Baroness Lesen, a strong, protective German woman who became more of a mother to me than anyone else. She encouraged my independence and education. I learned languages, history, religion, and the Constitution. I loved to draw and read, especially tales of romantic chivalry and brave monarchs. When I was 11, I was shown a family tree. I saw my name inching toward the throne. "Does this mean I shall be queen?" I asked. When they confirmed it, I answered simply, with more weight than they could have imagined. "I will be good." Becoming queen. My uncle, King William IV, passed away in the early morning hours of June 20, 1837. I was awakened and informed, "The king is dead. Long live the queen." I was only 18 years old. That morning, I met with the Privy Council for the first time. I was barely 5 feet tall, dressed in mourning clothes, and yet I stood firm. I spoke clearly, answered confidently. They saw not a girl, but a queen. For the first time in my life, I was allowed to live alone, to make decisions by myself. I moved into Buckingham Palace, which at that time was considered rather shabby and incomplete. I began to transform it into a symbol of monarchy. My first Prime Minister, Lord Melbourne, became a mentor, a father figure. We met daily. He taught me how to be a sovereign. He helped me navigate court politics and public expectation. People began to see that I was not merely a figurehead. Still, it was not easy. I was criticized for favoring the Whigs, for meddling in court appointments. There were scandals, whispers. But I remained steadfast. I signed documents. I read dispatches. I ruled. I believed deeply in the divine right of kings, but I also understood that in a modern age, a monarch must earn the love of her people. Falling in love. In October 1839, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha came to visit. We had met before, but now he was a man, intelligent, kind, refined. He loved the arts, science, philosophy. We spoke of music and politics, of Goethe and nature. I found myself falling, helplessly. As queen, it was my duty to propose, not his. And so I did. On October 15, 1839, I asked him to be my husband. He accepted with warmth in his eyes and strength in his voice. We were married on February 10, 1840, in the Chapel Royal of St. James's Palace. I wore white satin and Huntington lace, starting a tradition that brides would follow for generations. The day was cold, but my heart burned with joy. Albert became not just my husband, but my confidant, advisor, and moral compass. We shared a deep passion for music, science, art, and family. He modernized the court, promoted education, and pushed for innovations in industry. Together, we had 9 children. I adored being a mother, even though childbirth terrified me. Each child was baptized with pomp and named to honor our heritage. Our family became the image of the ideal Victorian household. But behind the smiles were moments of sorrow, miscarriages, political pressures, endless public scrutiny. Yet, our bond only deepened. A widow in black. On December 14, 1861, Albert died at the age of 42. He had fallen ill after years of overwork and stress. I believe grief killed him as much as typhoid did. I was shattered. The world darkened. My light was gone. I ordered everything to stop. I wore black mourning for the rest of my life. I withdrew from public life. The court went quiet. The nation wept with me, but they also grew restless. My prolonged absence led to whispers, "The Queen has abandoned us." Yet behind palace walls, I worked. I wrote letters, issued orders, advised ministers. My sorrow did not halt my sense of duty. It was during this time that John Brown, a loyal Scottish servant, became my companion. He was fiercely protective, informal, and utterly honest. He treated me as a woman, not just a monarch. Many disapproved of our closeness, but I cherished his loyalty. He gave me courage. Even after his death, I had a statue made of him. I kept his picture and a lock of his hair until the day I died. The Empress and the Empire. The sun never set on my empire, they said, and it was true. Under my reign, Britain expanded its territories across the globe: India, Australia, Canada, Africa, the Caribbean. The power of Britain was unmatched. In 1876, under the guidance of Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, I was proclaimed Empress of India. I accepted with deep pride and reverence. India intrigued me. I read its literature, studied its culture. I employed Indian servants, learned Hindustani phrases, and brought Indian design into my homes. At Balmoral, my Scottish retreat, I found peace among the heathered hills. There I entertained guests, read poetry, and communed with nature. Meanwhile, the world changed. The Industrial Revolution transformed cities. Railways crisscrossed the land. Telegraphs shrank distance. Photography captured reality. I witnessed the birth of the modern age. I was not just a queen, I became a symbol of stability. The people looked to me in times of change. I was grandmother to Kaiser Wilhelm, aunt to Tsar Nicholas, matriarch of a royal web that spanned Europe. My blood ran through empires. The end of an era. By the dawn of the 20th century, I was old and frail, nearly blind, but still ruling. I attended state functions from a wheelchair. My memory faded, but my resolve did not. In 1900, I faced another blow, the death of my beloved son Alfred, Duke of Saxe-Coburg. Grief once again pierced my heart. On January 22, 1901, surrounded by my children and grandchildren, I passed peacefully at Osborne House. I was 81 years old. I asked to be buried in white, not black. Beside me were placed Albert's dressing gown, a lock of John Brown's hair, and a photo of him hidden in my hand. Few knew the full truth of my heart. My legacy. I reigned for over 63 years, through war and peace, invention and revolution, love and loss. I gave my name to an era, the Victorian Age. It was an age of morality and progress, of empire and elegance. It was not without flaws, poverty, inequality, colonialism, but it was a time of transformation. I changed the monarchy. I humanized it. I made it a family, not a spectacle. I set a standard of duty, dignity, and devotion. I was born in a palace, raised in a cage, crowned as a girl, widowed as a queen, and buried as a legend. I am Victoria. And this was my life. And that's another chapter from the pages of history, proof that the past is filled with legends, leaders, and visionaries who shaped the world we live in today. But history is far from over. There are still so many incredible stories to uncover. So if you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to History's Icons for more legendary tales. Who or what should we explore next? Let me know in the comments. Your idea might be the next great story we bring to life. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode of History's Icons, where the past comes to life.